Hey up everyone, this is my first watch of 31 Days of Horror, or Terror, whichever you want to call it, for the month of October, right the way through to Halloween. I want to try and do my best and do one a day, and if I do a video a day, then I've got more chance of sticking to it, to be honest. So last night, 1st of October, I watched this little hidden gem that I found by total accident a few years back, and it was going really cheap. I had a slip cover and everything. I got it off eBay. It was new, so I thought I'll give that a go. This one's from 1982 and it is called Trick or Treats. Now this was 82, so this was before Trick or Treat. It was before Trick or Treat. It's not the scariest film by any stretch of the imagination, to be honest. It's kind of got a feeling of a made-for-TV film. It's got like that kind of feel to it. Now I thought it was out in the 90s, and the more I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, God, they look young there. They look young there. And then I had to wait for the end credits to look, and it was like 1982. I was like, wow, all those years, and I'd never heard of it. I never saw this in the video shops, anything like that. I just completely found it by accident when I was looking through horror films years ago. I can't remember how many years ago. I must have had this now about 6 or 7 years at least. And I watched it once, and I remember enjoying it, but thinking, that was very underwhelming. But when I watched this last night, I really enjoyed it. So the film opens with a couple having breakfast in the back garden. And the wife is played by Carrie Snodgrass. And she plays the part of Joan. Carrie Snodgrass was in Murphy's Law. She's the psychotic nutjob in the Charles Manson film Murphy's Law. She's also in Wild Things. She's the woman with the crocodile. Or am I thinking of the wrong film? Is that Lake Placid? I think she might be in there as well. Anyway, you'll know her if you've seen her. She sadly passed away from cancer a few years back. God bless her. She was a hell of an actress, but I just can't think. But I know she's been in a lot of stuff. Her husband Malcolm, who's played by Peter Jason, who's in 48 Hours, and I think, yes, he's also in Body Bags. He's in the first story of Body Bags at the gas station. He's one of their customers in the car. So they're sat at the table out the back having their breakfast, and she's like, do you want this, dear? Do you want this, dear? How are you doing, dear? And he's like just completely silent, blanks her. He's reading his paper, and at one point she says his name and says something. He just looks at her and you think, abused wife or what? Then the front door goes, and she's like, oh, don't you move, dear, I'll get it. So she goes and opens the door, and there's these, you know what they are as soon as you open the door, because they're all in white, these two men with the old white coats on. So she's hushing these guys up, and she's come through, and she's at the back of the, and then as she goes out the back, she like just tittles out the side, and then these two guys walk up to him, and they pull out this straitjacket, and they're going hello to him, and it's gone like, who are you, what you doing here, type of thing. And they go, don't be causing any trouble. And he gets up and he's like, tosses the table, and he's running around the swimming pool, and they're trying to catch him. Cut a long story short, they do catch him, but bits happening in between, but I'll leave that for you to watch if you ever want to watch this. So they get him, and he gets locked away in like a mental asylum place. His wife Joan has set this up deliberately. And the next thing you know, there she is, moved on with a new boyfriend in the same house where he lived with all his stuff, and the new boyfriend is played by David Carradine, aka Kill Bill. Well, Bill in Kill Bill. And he's also in Death Race 2000, when he was made famous in the 70s TV show Kung Fu. Interestingly enough, you also get a little part midway through by Paul Bartel. Paul Bartel directed Death Race 2000. Paul Bartel is also the camp leader, you know, the guy with the baldy head and the beard in Piranha. I did notice as well in one of the tense bits of the film, the music's playing, and I went, I recognise that straight away. I thought, that is Pino Donaggio. I just recognise his music. And I thought, that music's from Piranha, and it was. They've stole the music out of Piranha. Now, I don't know whether it's coincidence because of Paul Bartel being in the film. I don't know what it was doing there, but it was definitely taken from the Piranha soundtrack. It wasn't even copied. It's the actual music used. Don't know how we got around that. So Carrie Snodgrass and her new boyfriend, David Carradine, they're in this house and they're getting all dressed up. And it's on Halloween night. And they are going to some party or something. But they have to stay overnight. They're getting a plane to do it. So they call this babysitter. And she comes over. She needs the job because she said they're highly paid, and her boyfriend's doing a play at this opening night thing as I don't know, some night in it. And she has to ring and cancel, and he spits his dummy out. It turns out as well that the actress who plays the babysitter and the guy who's playing a boyfriend on the other end of the phone were actually, I don't know, they're a boyfriend and girlfriend or man and wife in real life. So she says, I need the money, so I'll tell you what, when you've finished your opening night performance, I'll give you the address, you can come over and see me. So off she pops to her babysitting job, gets there, and Carrie Snodgrass lets her in, and then David Carradine creeps on her. You can just see, so smarmy. She walks in and catches him, she just like taps his stick and gives him the evils and all that. Anyway, off the pop. And on the way out, she shouts Carrie Snodgrass back and says, "Oh, where's your little boy? I haven't met him." She went, "Oh, he's around. You'll meet him. You just, it's all right. You'll find him, or he'll find you." Anyway, the son, he's a right pain in the ass. He's a little creep. He's constantly just doing tricks, illusions. He's a wannabe magician. But this poor babysitter, you really feel for her because she's at the end of her tether. And you know she hates him. He's a little creep. It also turns out that the kid is the director's son in real life. That sounds like this was a very close-knit thing. Anyway, so the husband, who Carrie Snodgrass gets locked up in the mental asylum, I think it's 6 years later, 4 or 6 years later, escapes. And he dresses up like a nurse. It's actually quite funny to see him with the full nurse makeup and putting his lipstick on and stuff. So he gets out. He gets so far back into the town and stuff, and he rings his home, and the babysitter answers the phone, and he's just quiet. She thinks it's the kid messing about because some of the stuff that he does is ridiculous. He's just constant. He'll never learn to shut his mouth. She tells him the story about the boy who cried wolf. He takes absolutely zero notice of that story, little prick. And the phone calls just sporadically keep coming. Silence. And then he progresses to grunts. And anyway, he does make his way back to the house. I won't tell you any more that happens, because I think this film needs to be seen a bit more. It's not, honestly, it's not the greatest film, but I could see this being a bit of a comfort film. It's not the fastest paced film, it's a bit of a slow burner, but I was sold. It had me. I definitely enjoyed it more this time around than when I very first bought it. It's just a really, really good little horror film, and it's not really that horrific. You don't see the first death until well over an hour into the film, and the film itself is only an hour and a half long. Now you might think, oof, over an hour before the first kill, but it depends what you like. Like I said earlier, it does have this made-for-TV feel about it. But I don't think it was made for TV. I could be totally wrong. I was looking at the end of the titles for, the Motion Picture Association of America, the I-shaped thing, where it's got the MPA number. It doesn't have one. That doesn't mean to say it didn't do a theatre release in the States, but usually when they're made by big studios, it does have them. This didn't. Doesn't necessarily mean it was a TV film, but I don't know, because until I bought this film, I'd never heard of it before. I was shocked at the very final scene. It's not a jump scare, but just when you think it's about to finish, there's one little thing happens in the end, and I went like, no. I'd absolutely totally forgot about that happening, what happens at the end. I'd forgot pretty much 99% of the film, because when I first put it on, I thought, I'm not going to remember any of this. But as soon as I seen them having their breakfast at the beginning of the table, I started to remember little bits. And then when she opened the door, I remembered who they were at the door as well. So, but that's probably about all I remembered. So yeah, I have actually seen people slate this film. When I got it, I remember reading, oh God, you've got Trick or Treat. I wouldn't bother watching. I could never watch that. Anyway, I watched it and I was like, not that bad. Watched it at night and I thought, you know what, I really enjoyed that. Whatever murders there is, or whatever deaths, or whatever gore it is after the hour. But like I say, I would give it a chance. You might be able to get it still cheap on Blu-ray. You might be able to get it downloaded or on streaming. I've never seen it on stream, but you never know. But yeah, good little film. I really enjoyed it. And I'm glad I got it, because I would watch it definitely again. Especially now I've seen it the second time. I think, yeah, I'd watch that again. And it's good now that when you do this full 31 days, it's given me a chance to watch more films like this that I've not really watched before. And it is, with it being a Halloween related film as well. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Like I said, it ain't going to win any awards for acting or story or anything, but it's different. The acting ain't great, but yeah. This is released by Code Red, or it was. There is a couple of extras on it, but nothing to really scream home about, to be honest. But I personally would give it a 5.5 out of 10. I've seen far worse. Yeah, I've seen better, but even so, I did enjoy this film. So that is 1982's, directed by Gary Graver. Trick or Treats. So I don't know what the next one will be. I'm watching tomorrow, tonight, whenever you're watching this, for the 2nd of October. I haven't got a list. I'm just going with what I fancy, and I'm just taking it every day. If I look or I think of anything, like, yeah, I'm having that. Came across that 2 days ago and I thought, I'm having that as my number one. So there we go. I've started off with one I've not seen a lot. Hope you enjoyed that. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow for the 2nd film of 31 Days of Terror / Horror. Ta-ta.